Before we begin, I want you to take a deep breath and think about your family right now. Picture their faces. Think about the moments you've prayed for them, the times you've worried about them, and the dreams you hold for their future. In the comments, share their names or simply write "my family" so we can join our faith together. Because today, this message is not just another video. It is a prayer, a declaration, and a covering over the ones you love most. You didn't stumble here by chance. You were led here because God has something specific to release over your household, and it begins with the words of Jesus himself. Today, I will protect your family from every attack. You see, life has a way of throwing storms at us, storms that don't just aim for us personally, but for the unity, peace, and safety of our homes. The enemy knows that if he can shake the family, he can shake the foundation of your future. But Jesus is reminding you today that his eyes never leave your household, even when you feel vulnerable. Even when it seems like there's no shield strong enough to withstand the hits, he stands at the gate and says, "This far and no further." His protection is not just emotional or symbolic. It is real, active, and constant. So as we step into this word together, let it be personal. Don't hear this as a general promise for the world, but as a direct conversation between you and your Savior. Let his words wrap around your heart like armor, and let your spirit rise in confidence, because before this day ends, I believe you will know, not just hope, but know that his hand is over your home, his angels surround your loved ones, and no attack will succeed. There are moments in life when you can feel the pressure building all around you, like invisible walls closing in, trying to crush your hope. For some of you, the past weeks have been filled with tension in your home. Maybe it's been arguments that seem to come out of nowhere, financial struggles that drain your energy, or health battles that feel like they're taking too much from you. And in the middle of all that, there's this silent fear. What if something happens to my family? What if I can't protect them? But today, Jesus steps right into that fear and speaks with an authority no one can challenge. I will protect your family from every attack. His voice doesn't tremble, his promise doesn't waver, and his shield never fails. He's not just giving you comfort, he's declaring war on anything that tries to come against your home. When Jesus says he will protect, it's not an empty reassurance. It's a supernatural guarantee backed by heaven itself. The kind of protection he offers is not limited by locked doors, security systems, or human strength. It covers the places you can't see and the threats you don't even know about. While you're at work, he's watching over your children. While you're asleep, he's standing guard over your house while you're too weary to pray. His spirit intercedes on your behalf. Imagine him like a light so powerful that no shadow can enter. Every whispered lie from the enemy is silenced in his presence. Every weapon formed against you loses its power before it can even touch your family. And here's the truth. This protection is not just for moments of crisis, it's for every single day. Even on the days when life feels normal, he is actively surrounding your home with peace and safety. You may never know all the attacks he's already stopped, because his covering is so complete that the danger never even reaches you. That's the kind of God he is, a father who anticipates the danger before it appears, a shepherd who defends before the wolf even comes near. So, let your heart rest in this. Your family is not exposed, they are not abandoned, they are not left to fight alone. They are surrounded, shielded, and secured in the hands of Jesus. There are seasons when the attacks don't come in the form of visible disasters, but in the quiet, creeping way the enemy tries to sow division, doubt, and despair. Maybe you've noticed it. Little misunderstandings that turn into big arguments, a cold distance that starts to grow between loved ones, or a subtle heaviness in the atmosphere of your home that you can't quite explain. These are not accidents. They are attempts to weaken the bond of your family, to chip away at the unity and love that keep you strong. But today, Jesus is standing in the doorway of your home, declaring that no such scheme will succeed. He is restoring harmony where there has been conflict, trust where suspicion has tried to take root, and joy where heaviness has lingered for too long. His protection doesn't just block physical harm, it preserves the very heart of your family's connection. Imagine for a moment the spiritual realm, a place unseen by human eyes, where forces of light and darkness contend over destinies. In that realm, your family's name is known. The enemy would love nothing more than to derail your peace and silence your prayers. But right now, as you listen, I want you to picture Jesus stepping forward, his presence radiating a light so fierce that every shadow scatters. Angels are dispatched at his command, surrounding your household with impenetrable strength. No lie, no curse, no destructive influence can cross that barrier. And even in moments when you feel outnumbered, you are never unprotected. Heaven's armies are far greater than any force against you. And perhaps the most powerful truth is this: his protection isn't based on your perfection. It's not something you have to earn by never making mistakes or always having perfect faith. Jesus protects because he loves you, and his love is unconditional, unwavering, and unbreakable. Even in your weakest moments, when your prayers feel short and your strength is gone, he remains steadfast. The attacks may come, but they will not stand. The threats may rise, but they will not prevail. Your family is not just surviving under his covering, they are destined to thrive. And as this truth sinks in, let your heart release the fear you've been holding and replace it with gratitude for the one who guards your home day and night. Sometimes protection doesn't look like what we expect. We imagine a life without problems, without conflict, without challenges. But often, the way Jesus protects your family is by walking with you right through the middle of the battle, shielding you from the full force of the storm. There may be moments when you face difficulties that seem overwhelming, yet somehow you come out still standing, still together, still holding on. That's not luck, that's divine intervention. The enemy may have planned to destroy your peace, but Jesus steps in and limits what can touch you. He sets boundaries the enemy cannot cross, saying, "You may test them, but you will not take them." Every time you've made it through something that should have broken you, it was proof that his protective hand never left your home. And the truth is, many of the battles he fights for your family happen in silence, beyond your awareness. While you are focused on your daily routines, getting the kids ready for school, preparing dinner, working long hours, Jesus is handling threats you will never see. He is intercepting accidents before they happen, closing doors that would have led to danger, and redirecting steps that could have caused harm. There are times when you've been delayed, frustrated by a change in plans, and later you realize that delay may have been his way of keeping you safe. That's how deep his love runs. It's not only present in the miraculous moments you can see, but in the countless unseen moments that you will never even know about. And here's something powerful. His protection is not just about keeping danger out, it's about preserving the blessings inside. He guards the laughter in your home, the love in your relationships, the faith in your children's hearts. He fights to keep your family from growing cold, bitter, or hopeless, because he knows that the true victory is not only surviving attacks, but living with joy and peace despite them. Today, he is reminding you that he hasn't just surrounded your family with walls of safety. He's filling your home with the warmth of his presence. That is why you can wake up each day with courage, knowing that no matter what the world throws your way, your family rests under the watchful eyes of the one who never sleeps. There are attacks that come suddenly, like a wave crashing without warning, and there are others that build slowly over time, subtle influences, wrong voices, and negative patterns that try to creep into your family's life. Jesus is aware of both, and his protection covers every kind of threat. May be right. Now, your concern isn't just about safety in the physical sense, but about the values, the faith, and the love within your home. The world outside your walls can be loud, chaotic, and filled with distractions. But Jesus is declaring today that he will preserve the integrity and purity of your family. He will guard your children's hearts from lies, protect your relationships from division, and keep your household anchored in truth. This is not a passive promise, it's an active, daily defense. Think about it. There have been moments in your life when you sensed something was wrong. Before you could explain why, a feeling, a nudge, a sudden change in direction. That's often the Holy Spirit alerting you to danger. Jesus doesn't just react to attacks. He anticipates them. He moves pieces in the background, aligning circumstances so that harm is avoided before it even reaches you. And while you may not always recognize these interventions in the moment, If you could see all the close calls He has delivered you from, you would fall to your knees in gratitude. He is the shepherd who goes ahead of the flock, removing the threats before the sheep even arrive. And here's what's even more encouraging. His protection doesn't expire when the crisis is over. He doesn't shield your family for a season and then step back. His watch is eternal. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and His commitment to your household is unshakable. You can rest knowing that the one who created the universe is also the one standing guard over your home. So tonight, when you close your eyes, release every worry into His hands. Let peace replace the anxiety, because you are not the protector, He is. And His protection is perfect. One of the most comforting truths you can hold onto is that Jesus knows your family more intimately than you do. He knows every fear you've never spoken aloud, every burden you've carried quietly, and every moment you've fought to stay strong for those you love. His protection is not general. It is specific, personal, and tailor-made for the unique battles your household faces. The same God who parts seas and calms storms also notices when your child feels alone, when your spouse feels discouraged, or when you're lying awake at night replaying your worries over and over. His love is so intentional that He covers each member of your family differently, according to their needs. And that's why His protection works in ways we can't always understand, because it's not just about shielding from harm, it's about strengthening the heart. Picture Him as the watchman who never steps away from his post. Day and night, in sunshine or storm, He stands as the unshakable wall between your home and every force that wants to steal, kill, or destroy. The enemy may circle, but he will never breach the gates Jesus guards. This is not just a poetic image, it's a spiritual reality. And it's why, even in seasons where your circumstances look fragile, you can have an unexplainable peace, because you know that protection doesn't depend on how strong you feel. It depends on how faithful He is, and His faithfulness has never failed. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Every attack that was designed to harm your family. This year, sickness, financial strain, accidents, confusion, all of them approaching like arrows. Now picture those arrows shattering in midair before they can even touch your home. That's what His covering looks like in the unseen world. You may never know the full extent of what He's already blocked on your behalf, but one day when you see it clearly, you will realize that His shield has been around you every single moment, and it will leave you speechless with gratitude. There's a reason the Bible describes Jesus as both the lion and the lamb who lays down His life for His children is also the lion who fiercely defends them from danger. When it comes to your family, He is gentle in His love but unrelenting in His protection. The enemy can roar, but Jesus roars louder. The darkness can threaten, but His light always overpowers it. Right now, even if you can't see it with your physical eyes, there's a divine barrier around your home. Angels have been assigned to your household, not just as silent observers, but as active guardians. And they are not intimidated by the threats you face. They have been sent with orders, straight from the throne of heaven, to keep your family safe in all their ways. This means you don't have to live in constant fear of what might happen. Fear drains your strength, but trust in Jesus renews it. Every time the enemy tries to plant a worst-case scenario in your mind, replace it with the image of Christ, standing in the doorway of your home, unmovable, unshaken, and declaring, "They are mine, and you cannot touch them." That declaration holds more authority than any threat, because the one who speaks is the same one who conquered death, hell, and the grave. No enemy is greater than Him. No force can bypass His will. No plan can succeed against His word. And here's where the promise becomes even more powerful. His protection doesn't just keep trouble out, it also brings blessing in. When Jesus guards your home, He creates an environment where peace can grow, where faith can strengthen, and where joy can take root. That's why some of the greatest evidence of His protection isn't just in what you've been spared from, but in the moments of laughter, connection, and love that fill your home. Despite the world's chaos, those moments are proof that His presence isn't just defending you, it's dwelling with you. And where His presence is, no attack can thrive. There are times when protection feels invisible because nothing dramatic happens. No sudden rescue, no obvious miracle, and yet that is often when His hand is working the hardest. You may look back over the past months and think, nothing really happened. But the truth is, nothing happened because He didn't allow it. The crisis you feared never materialized, the disaster you dreaded never came, and the worst-case scenarios playing in your mind never became reality. That is the silent strength of Jesus' covering. It is the unseen shield that prevents the enemy's plans from becoming your reality. And while the world calls it good luck or coincidence, you can know with certainty it was His protection at work, shielding your home before the first arrow was even fired. And make no mistake, His vigilance never fades. He doesn't take breaks, doesn't look away, doesn't grow tired. Scripture says He neither slumbers nor sleeps, which means that while you are resting, He is still on guard. While you are making dinner, driving to work, or sitting in silence, He is actively monitoring every approach of danger and ensuring it doesn't reach your household. His commitment to your family is not seasonal or conditional. It's eternal. You don't have to wonder if His covering will hold during your weakest moments. That's when He is strongest. Even when you feel like you have nothing left to give, He remains fully engaged, fully committed, and fully capable of protecting everything that matters to you. The truth is, this protection is not just about safety, it's about destiny. Jesus isn't only keeping your family safe for today, He's preserving their future. Every attack that fails to reach you means one more day your children can grow. One more day your marriage can strengthen. One more day your household can fulfill the plans He has written for you. So when fear tries to grip your heart, remember this: your home is not just surviving. It is being prepared for greater days ahead. His shield is not temporary. It is a lifelong promise. And as long as He is guarding your family, and He always will, you have nothing to fear. Some of the greatest battles for your family's safety and peace are fought in places you will never see. In the spiritual realm, long before the attack reaches the doorstep, Jesus has already stepped in to intercept it. The enemy plots, schemes, and sends out his weapons. But heaven always moves first. It's not a fight between equal forces. The outcome was decided long ago at the cross. The same blood that purchased your salvation also purchased the authority to declare protection over your home. And that's why every curse, every trap, every destructive word spoken against your family is powerless under His covering. The battle is over before it even begins, because Jesus has already claimed victory on your behalf. And while this protection is divine and supernatural, it is also deeply personal. Jesus doesn't just protect you as one among many. He knows your home by name. He knows the sound of your children's laughter, the prayers whispered in your kitchen late at night, the moments of joy and the moments of pain. His protection wraps around those memories, those dreams, and those people with a love so fierce that nothing can tear it away. That's why you can live without the constant fear of losing what you love most, because the one holding it all together is stronger than anything trying to pull it apart. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is simply resting in that truth, choosing not to live in panic, not to rehearse every what if in your mind, but instead to say, Lord, I trust You to guard what I cannot. When you do that, you're not ignoring reality. You're declaring that there is a greater reality at work, the promise that the same God who formed the heavens and the earth is also the one standing watch over your home. And in that truth, your heart can finally breathe, your mind can finally rest, and your spirit can finally rejoice, knowing that no attack will ever be strong enough to break the protection of Jesus over your family. There is something profoundly humbling about realizing that the God who holds galaxies in place also stands watch over the walls of your home. He commands the stars, sets boundaries for the oceans, and yet chooses to personally guard the hearts and lives of the ones you love. His protection is not just a theological concept to be discussed. It is a living reality that surrounds you. Right now, while you may see your home as an ordinary place, walls or roof, a door, Jesus sees it as sacred ground, a place He has marked as His territory. And because it belongs to Him, no unclean spirit, no destructive plan, no wave of darkness can claim it. The enemy may attempt to approach, but the moment he sees the mark of Christ's ownership, he knows he has no legal right to enter. That is why you can walk through every room with confidence, knowing heaven itself recognizes your address. Think of the countless moments you were spared without even realizing it. The almost accidents, the illnesses that never took root, the relationships that could have led to harm but were cut off just in time. None of those were random. They were the fingerprints of a protective God who is so deeply invested in your well-being that He is willing to rearrange the very order of your life to keep you safe. And this protection doesn't just stop danger, it also directs your steps toward what is good. Sometimes, the door you thought you needed to walk through was closed not to punish you, but to protect you from what you couldn't see. His no is often the greatest act of love He can give, because it shields you from harm you weren't equipped to face. And here's the truth you need to carry with you. Jesus' protection is as strong on the ordinary days as it is in the middle of the storm. It is not activated only when life falls apart. It is constant, steady, and unwavering, even in seasons when you feel spiritually dry, emotionally drained, or physically weak. His covering does not loosen. You are not kept safe because of your ability to hold it all together. You are kept safe because of His ability to hold you. So when the night feels long, when the headlines are filled with fear, and when uncertainty looms over the future, remember this: the same hands that stretched out on the cross are the hands that now stretch out over your home, and those hands will never let go. One of the most remarkable truths about the protection of Jesus is that it is not reactive. It is proactive. He does not wait for trouble to arrive at your door before He moves. He positions Himself ahead of the attack, cutting it off before it can even take form. In the spiritual realm, there are assignments and schemes launched against families every single day, but they are intercepted before they can manifest in your life. That sickness that never came, that accident that never happened, that betrayal that was exposed before it could do lasting damage. All of these are victories you might never have celebrated because you didn't know they occurred. Yet heaven celebrates them, because each one is a testimony of His unfailing vigilance over your home. The enemy may be persistent, but Jesus is infinitely stronger, and His watch over your family never ends. It's important to understand that His protection is layered. There's the external shield that keeps physical harm from touching your home, but there's also the internal protection that guards the heart, mind, and spirit of your loved ones. The enemy doesn't always come with obvious weapons. Sometimes he comes as anxiety, as subtle compromise, as quiet discouragement. But Jesus stands against all of it. He places truth where there is confusion, peace where there is fear, and strength where there is weakness. Even when you see your children or your spouse wrestling with pressures you can't remove, you can rest knowing that there is a greater hand at work, one that fights battles you cannot fight and wins victories you cannot see. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this promise is that it's not bound by time or distance. You may not always be physically present with every member of your family. Children grow up, loved ones travel, life pulls people in different directions. But the presence of Jesus is never limited. His protection can be in your home while also covering your son in another city, your daughter in another country, or your spouse in another place. His reach knows no borders, no boundaries, no limits. Wherever your family goes, His protection goes with them. That means you can release the constant fear of what if. Because there is no what if stronger than His promise. You can live with confidence, not because danger doesn't exist, but because His authority is greater than any danger you could ever face. There will be seasons when it feels like everything around you is shifting, when the security you once felt is shaken, when relationships face tension, when finances tighten, or when unexpected news threatens to unsettle your peace. In those moments, it's natural to wonder, God, are you still here? Are you still watching over us? And yet, it is precisely in those seasons that His protection becomes most evident. Jesus does not abandon His post because the winds grow stronger. In fact, He plants His feet more firmly. He becomes the anchor in the middle of the storm, ensuring that while the waves may crash and the winds may howl, they will not destroy what belongs to Him. What you perceive as instability is often the shaking off of what could have harmed you, leaving only what He has secured. And here's the truth you must hold on to. The enemy's attacks are often loud and dramatic, but they are also limited. They have an expiration date, they have boundaries, and they are under the authority of the one who protects you. This means no attack can run its full course without His permission, and He will never allow more than what His grace can sustain you through, even in situations where it seems like something has slipped past your defenses. Jesus is already working it for your good, transforming what was meant for harm into a testimony of His faithfulness. The same God who kept Israel safe in the wilderness, who shut the mouths of lions, and who calmed raging seas is the same God who watches over your family right now. And He has not changed. So tonight, when the quiet settles in and your mind begins to replay the fears and what-ifs of the day, I want you to imagine His presence filling every room of your home. Picture Him standing at the front door, light radiating from Him so brightly that no darkness dares approach. Picture angels stationed at every corner of your property, vigilant and ready, not because you are in danger this very second, but because their orders are to ensure danger never reaches you. And let that image quiet your racing thoughts. Let it remind you that your family's safety has never depended solely on your strength or your planning. It has always depended on His unshakable, unstoppable, unending protection. One of the most liberating truths you can embrace is that Jesus does not protect your family reluctantly. He protects with delight. It is His joy to watch over those He loves. He is not a distant guardian checking in occasionally. He is an ever-present protector, fully engaged in every detail of your lives. When your children step out the door in the morning, His eyes follow them. When your spouse travels, His hand guides every mile. When you face moments of uncertainty, His voice speaks peace before fear has a chance to take root. This is not an abstract idea. It is a personal, moment-by-moment reality. And because He delights in protecting you, He does not just stand between you and danger. He actively works to position your family for blessing, growth, and breakthrough. There is something powerful about realizing that His protection is not limited to crisis prevention. Yes, He blocks the attacks you see and the ones you don't, but He also clears paths for you to walk in safety. Think about how many times your life could have gone in a different direction, a wrong turn, a wrong decision, a wrong influence, but somehow you were redirected. That is His protection at work in the subtleties. It's in the small moments that look insignificant at the time, but later you realize they were the turning points that kept you from danger. His guidance and His protection are intertwined. Every time He leads, He is also shielding. And perhaps what will fill your heart with the most peace is knowing that His protection is backed by His authority. There is no negotiation when Jesus commands something to stop. It stops. No spiritual force can debate with Him. No demonic plan can outsmart Him. And no human opposition can overpower Him. The very presence of Jesus in your home is a declaration of ownership. You and your family belong to Him. And because you belong to Him, He has both the right and the power to protect you completely. This is why you can live with confidence, even in uncertain times. Because the same God who rules the heavens has decided that your home will be a place of safety. And when He decides something, it is final. There is a kind of protection that goes beyond simply keeping harm away. It's the kind that restores what was damaged, rebuilds what was broken, and strengthens what was once weak. Jesus doesn't just shield your family from future attacks. He also heals the wounds left by the battles of the past. Maybe your home has endured seasons of tension, misunderstandings, or pain that left scars in your relationships. His protection is not only a defensive wall, it's a healing presence that moves through your household, mending hearts and renewing trust. Imagine Him walking through each room, speaking peace into the atmosphere, removing bitterness from the air, and replacing it with a fresh wind of grace. This is the kind of covering that ensures your family isn't just surviving, but actually becoming stronger through every season. And what makes His protection so powerful is that it is rooted in His love. And His love never fails. Human protection can falter. Even the most vigilant parent or spouse can't be everywhere at once. But Jesus has no limitations. He is present in your living room while also guarding your loved one miles away. He can see both the danger that is far ahead and the subtle attacks trying to work their way in right now. His vision is perfect, and His timing is flawless. Even when you are blindsided by something unexpected, He is not. There has never been. a moment when Jesus has been caught off guard regarding your family. His eyes have never left you, and his commitment to your safety has never weakened. This means that every day you wake up, you are already stepping into a day that is surrounded by divine defense. You are not waiting for him to show up. He is already there. His covering doesn't begin when you remember to pray. It is constant, unbroken, and unshakable. Prayer simply aligns your heart with the reality of his protection. And when you truly believe that, fear begins to lose its grip. You no longer live with the constant tension of wondering if your family will be okay, because you are anchored in the truth that they are in the safest place possible, in the hands of the one who holds the universe, and those hands will never fail. There is a peace that comes when you finally understand that Jesus' protection is not something fragile that can be broken by the size of the storm. His protection is not like a thin umbrella in heavy rain. It is like a fortress built on unshakable rock. No matter how fierce the winds blow, no matter how relentless the attacks may seem, nothing can breach the walls he has placed around your family. This doesn't mean you'll never feel the wind or hear the thunder. You might still face moments that shake your emotions, but it does mean the foundation will stand, the walls will hold, and the one who guards you will not be moved. You can walk through each day knowing that every step your family takes is covered by the one who knows the path ahead. Think about it. Your family's safety has never depended solely on your ability to control circumstances. There are too many factors in life you cannot manage: other people's decisions, unexpected events, unseen spiritual forces. If safety depended on you alone, the weight would crush you. But Jesus takes that weight and carries it on his shoulders. He has already proven that his love is willing to bear the full burden for your sake. At the cross, he carried the greatest danger humanity ever faced: eternal separation from God, and defeated it completely. If he would do that for your soul, how much more will he do to guard your home, your loved ones, and the life he has entrusted to you? And this is why trust is the key to living in his protection. Fear will try to make you feel like you have to control every outcome, to predict every possible danger, to hold everything together with your own strength. But trust says, "Lord, I place my family in your hands, because you can do more in one moment than I could in a lifetime." And as you release control to him, you'll find that peace begins to settle over your home like a blanket in the cold. You'll start to notice moments where you realize, if this had gone differently, it could have harmed us, and you'll see that it was his hand turning the situation in your favor all along. That is the life of someone under divine protection, aware that every single day is a testimony of his unseen victories. When you live under the covering of Jesus, you begin to understand that protection is not just a shield, it is also a strategy. He does not merely block the attack, he orchestrates the events of your life in such a way that the enemy's plans collapse under their own weight. Sometimes he removes you from a situation before the danger even develops. Other times, he allows you to walk straight through a difficult moment, but with a supernatural safeguard that ensures you come out unharmed and wiser than before. Every move he makes is intentional. Every delay is purposeful, and every closed door is an act of mercy disguised as a disappointment. And while the process may not always make sense in the moment, it becomes clear in time that his hand has been steady and sure over your family's path. The truth is, many of his greatest acts of protection happen in silence, in ways you will never read about in the news or share as a testimony, simply because the danger was eliminated before it could even approach. A wrong turn avoided, a conversation overheard that revealed someone's true intentions, a sudden sense to wait or change plans. All of these are the whispers of divine strategy, working on your behalf. And while the enemy thrives on intimidation, Jesus thrives on victory. Every single time a scheme is dismantled before it touches your household, it adds another mark to the long record of his faithfulness. Heaven keeps that record, and one day you will see how much has been kept from you, and you will fall to your knees in awe of his care. This is why your prayers matter so deeply, not because they inform Jesus of something he doesn't already know, but because they align your heart with his movements. Prayer keeps you connected to the awareness that you are never navigating life alone. And as you pray over your children, your spouse, your home, you're not begging for protection. You're agreeing with a promise that has already been set in motion. You're saying, Lord, I acknowledge what you're already doing, and I trust you to keep doing it. That trust becomes an anchor for your soul. It steadies you when the news is bad. It calms you when uncertainty tries to rise, and it gives you courage to face tomorrow, knowing that the same Jesus who has kept you until now will keep you still. There's a moment every believer reaches when they finally realize that Jesus' protection is not a fragile hope but an unshakable reality. It's the moment you stop wondering if he's guarding your family and start living as though his covering is already in place, because it is. You begin to walk through each day with a quiet confidence, knowing that nothing can reach your home without first passing through his hands. That means every trial you've faced, every challenge that's made it to your doorstep, has been allowed only because he has already equipped you to overcome it. This isn't about living in denial of danger. It's about living fully aware of a greater power that surrounds you at all times. And when you see life through that lens, fear begins to lose its grip on your mind. In the spiritual realm, your home is not just a physical address. It is a marked place. It carries the seal of belonging to the Lord. This mark is not visible to human eyes, but it is unmistakable to the forces of darkness. When the enemy approaches, he sees the mark and knows that your family is under divine ownership. Just like the Israelites in Egypt, when the blood on the doorposts signaled that the destroyer must pass over, your family is under a covering that commands evil to keep its distance. This is not poetic imagery. It is a spiritual truth. There are battles you will never have to fight because the victory was already won before the first strike was even attempted. And perhaps the most beautiful aspect of his protection is that it is deeply rooted in love, not fear. Jesus doesn't guard your family simply to keep you from harm. He guards you because he delights in your life, your laughter, your future. He watches over you not out of obligation, but out of a desire to see you thrive. That means his protection is not cold or mechanical. It is warm, intentional, and personal. It is the kind of watchfulness that notices every tear, every sigh, every need, and responds before you even know how to ask for help. When you rest in that reality, you don't just feel safer, you feel loved in a way that changes the way you live. You begin to move through life with gratitude, knowing you are covered in ways you will never fully understand on this side of eternity. There's a holy strength in knowing that the one who defends your family is the same one who spoke the universe into existence. His authority is not earned through battles fought. It is eternal, woven into his very nature as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. When Jesus declares, "I will protect your family from every attack," that is not a hopeful wish or a temporary promise. It is a royal decree backed by the power of heaven itself. And in the spiritual realm, his word is final. The enemy may plan, may threaten, may gather his forces, but at the sound of his command, every dark scheme collapses. The authority of Jesus is absolute, and when it is spoken over your home, no force in existence can override it. This means that his protection is not fragile, not conditional, and certainly not limited by human circumstances. You may feel surrounded by challenges, yet in reality, you are surrounded by him. You may see obstacles rising up against your household, but what you can't see are the angels positioned between you and the danger. These angels are not symbolic. They are active, real, and present. Scripture says they are ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation, and that includes you and your family. They stand guard not just in the obvious moments of danger, but in the everyday moments when you are unaware of just how close harm could have been. Every shift in plans, every delayed step, every sudden sense to stop or go. Often these are not coincidences, but divine interventions keeping you under the safety of his plan. And here's what makes his protection so deeply reassuring. It's not based on your ability to maintain it. You don't have to earn his covering through perfect behavior or constant strength. You are kept safe because you belong to him, and his love for you is stronger than any attack against you. That means even on the days when your faith feels weak, when your prayers are short, and when you feel overwhelmed, his shield does not lower. He remains constant, unshaken, and fully committed. This is why you can rest tonight without fear of tomorrow, because the one guarding your family has never lost a battle, and he's not about to start with yours. The enemy thrives on intimidation. using fear to convince you that danger is closer than God's protection. But fear is a liar, and its purpose is to make you forget who is truly in control. Jesus wants you to know today that no matter how loud the threats, no matter how convincing the lies, they hold no power over a family that belongs to Him. Every threat is hollow when it meets the authority of His name. When you stand on the promise, "I will protect your family from every attack," you are standing under a covenant that cannot be broken. And that covenant is sealed, not with ink, but with His own blood. Blood that speaks louder than any accusation and stronger than any curse. This is the unshakable foundation of your safety. And it's not just that He protects, it's how He protects. His ways are precise, strategic, and filled with wisdom that no human mind can fully comprehend. Sometimes He shields you by keeping the danger far from your path. Other times, He walks you right through the challenge, but with a supernatural barrier so complete that you emerge untouched. Either way, the end result is the same. The enemy's plan fails, and God's purpose for your family prevails. And every time this happens, whether you see it in the moment or realize it later, it builds a testimony you carry for life. You begin to tell the stories of how we made it through and how we were spared. And those stories become a legacy of faith for future generations. This is why you must remember that your family's safety is not fragile or uncertain. It is guaranteed by the one who cannot lie. Even when the news reports are frightening, even when the economy feels unstable, even when sickness tries to creep in, you can stand with boldness knowing that your home is under a different kind of covering, heaven's. Insurance never expires, never needs renewal, and never fails to deliver. When you fully grasp this, it changes how you live. You move from panic to peace, from fear to faith, from surviving to thriving. Because you know that your family is not just surviving in a dangerous world. They are living under the constant watch of the Savior who gave His life for them. And now we arrive at the heart of this message, the reason you were led to hear these words today. Jesus is not simply offering you encouragement. He is extending a personal promise, a divine guarantee. Today, "I will protect your family from every attack." This is not for tomorrow, not for some distant season. It is for now. It is for the moment you are living in, for the fears you have been wrestling with, for the quiet prayers you've been whispering in the night. Today, His shield is already in place. Today, His angels are already stationed around your home. Today, His eyes are fixed on the ones you love, and nothing, no scheme, no curse, no storm will break through His covering. This is the reality heaven operates in, and He wants you to live with the same certainty. So as you go forward from this moment, I want you to carry this truth like a banner over your heart. Your family is not exposed. They are enclosed in the fortress of His love. Every step they take is under His watch. Every night they sleep, He is awake and alert. Every plan of the enemy is met with the unshakable authority of His word. And this covering doesn't fade when the sun sets or when a new day begins. It is constant, enduring, and eternal. You do not have to wonder if His protection will hold. It has been holding since the moment you first placed your trust in Him, and it will hold until the very end. That is the kind of God He is, faithful, unchanging, and deeply committed to the safety of those who belong to Him. And maybe the most powerful thing you can do right now is respond with gratitude. Fear loses its grip when thankfulness rises in your heart. Begin to thank Him for every unseen battle He has already won on your behalf. Thank Him for the storms that passed you by, the threats that never reached you, and the blessings that continued to flow despite the enemy's plans. As you give thanks, let peace settle over you like a mantle, because you are not walking into an uncertain future. You are walking forward under the unbreakable promise of Jesus Christ, who declares over you this day, "Your family is mine, and I will protect them from every attack."